When it's in the back, get the back roll. Roll, control. Roll, control. From the beach to the lot to the club to the grocery. Kids just run shit, don't hold me. Back man, now man, I'm posted. Up in the VIP room, I got mimosas. Wanna let me flow, get down, go ahead. We finna rock away just like those did. Badass kids' birthdays at showbiz. I bring the cake.
What I would like you to do for both assignments is simply follow the models that I have provided. Regardless of which set of instructions that you read or try to follow, they all boil down to the same thing. And you are looking at that thing right now. Here is a model response for the Unit 2 discussion board. Please note that it fits entirely on one page. So your discussion board should not be longer than one page. There was a little bit of confusion about this last time, so I want to try to be as clear as I can this time. Whenever I give you a model template to follow, I want you to follow it exactly. The models are there for you to follow exactly. For example, for this Unit 2 discussion board, you would open up this model, which is posted in the instructor files on your course homepage. You would open up a blank Microsoft Word document, and you would type Unit 2 discussion board, and then you would skip 2 lines, and then you would type, here is my summary in response to, and then you put in the name of the author, the year of publication, and the title of the article that you chose for this discussion board. Then you write which is fully cited below. In other words, I want you to do it exactly like this. The second part is where you write objective summary, and you put it in boldface, and then you underline it. And then you go author's name, year of publication, believes, says, writes, asserted, stated. And then you write a 2 to 3 sentence summary of this article. You read the article, you put it away, and without looking at it, summarize what you remember of it. There's no such thing as a perfect summary. What you get out of something you read will be different than what I get out of it. It's like reading a poem or looking at a work of art. So I want you to write down what you think is the main idea, what you think are the main points. Then I want you to skip 2 spaces, and I want you to type out the words my response, boldface them, underline them, skip a line, and then you write a 2-paragraph personal response to that article. Here you can talk about what you agree or disagree with, how you think you can use it in your paper, what other thoughts or opinions that it suggests to you. Then you skip a line and you write my sentences with quotations and paraphrases from the article. Then you write 4 sentences. 2 of them are quotations, 2 of them are paraphrases. Now, I want to give you, as we talk about these quotations, I want to give you the 3 rules for quoting something in APA style. I'm going to give you 3 rules that you must follow when quoting something in APA style. Rule number 1, what you quote must be preceded by a signal phrase, and I will type that out for you. In other words, you must tell who is about to speak. It's like introducing somebody. You tell who is about to speak before they speak. So you can say, Friedman stated, Friedman believes, Friedman opined, Friedman asserted, Friedman wrote, Friedman studied, Friedman, whatever verb you want to put in there. So that's rule number 1, is a signal phrase. That signal phrase needs to include the name of that author as the person speaking. If you're dealing with a source that does not identify an author, you put in a shortened title of the source to substitute for the author. Okay, rule number 2 is that all quotations must have an in-text citation. All in-text citations in APA consist of the author's last name and year of publication put next to each other. So that's why the year 2007 is in parentheses. It is part of the in-text citation. And whenever I see that in-text citation, that tells me to go look for a name Friedman on your references page at the end of the paper who published something in 2007. Okay, rule number 3 is, of course, you must have quote marks. And quote marks are just like the word says. They mark where the person's writing exact words begin and end. Quote marks. They mark the quote. So those are the 3 rules. In APA, you don't use a page number unless it has one. There are going to be a lot of sources, especially digital sources, that do not have page numbers. So if it's got a page number, great, use it. If it doesn't have a page number, don't worry about it. Okay, so that is a direct quotation. Now, after you have quoted something from that author, you then must paraphrase it or put it in your own words, as the saying goes. For example, Christopher knows this, but Friedman wrote an article about violent children. And she said this about violent children. Here's the direct quote. Once the moment, that's the violent outburst or tantrum or whatever it is, once the moment has passed and the immediate danger is no longer present, do not believe that the problem, whatever caused it, or the outburst itself has been solved and all is right with the world. In other words, it could be the calm before the storm. You got to be prepared for the next one because the problem hasn't been taken care of. So what this student author did who wrote this model is took that very thought, the calm before the storm, don't let your guard down, whatever you want to say, and put it into her own words. She wrote, when it comes to children, once you think a situation has passed, think again. The situation has only died down for the moment, and the problem at hand has still not been solved. So you see that you have to repeat certain key words like situation, child, problem, but still the whole thing is obviously expressed and put into the student author's own sentence. So that's rule number 1 of paraphrases, is that, yeah, sure, you can repeat certain key words, but the phrasing has to be yours. The second rule of paraphrases is that they, too, must have an in-text citation. But this one's different, because in a paraphrase, you didn't mention the author, you just put the whole thing in your own words, because it's not a direct quotation. So now the author has to appear inside the parentheses along with the year of publication. So that's the difference in those 2 in-text citations that you see. This in-text citation, the author's name had to be used inside of this student's own sentence because she had to introduce the author by name. So there was no point in repeating the name inside the parentheses. In the paraphrase, the author's name was not used in the student sentence, so the author's name had to go inside parentheses. Then you see the same thing here. Here's a different signal phrase. And it doesn't matter that much what you say in a signal phrase as long as it's got the author's name in it or title. And here is the paraphrase of that direct quotation.